On Friday, 19th of June, 2026, 5 religious personalities were kidnapped in the northwest region of Cameroon. 2 reverend fathers, 2 reverend sisters, and a reverend brother were kidnapped in Bamenda. They were later released yesterday, Saturday, which happens to be the 20th of June 2026, after it is alleged that they had paid ransom and they were forced to record a video to address the issue, tagging Pope Leo XIV as one of the persons whom the separatists or the Amber fighters believe has what it takes to pressure Cameroon government in resolving this conflict. On that same Friday, the 19th of June, at least 2 to 3 military personnel were unalived in Likoko, a locality in Muyuka, chief town of Muyuka subdivision, Fako division, in the southwest region of Cameroon. Earlier within the week, there have been unaliving of individuals in the northwest region of Cameroon around the 11th of June. Before the 11th of June itself, the 9th of June, which was on a Monday, 2 persons were killed. The 2 are civilians and students. That week recorded series of killings in the northwest region. For 2 weeks in the northwest region, from Monday to Sunday, there have been continuous killings. On Thursday, the 18th of June, a civilian was killed by Amber Boys. And after he had been killed, the Amber Boys released a video where they forced him to explain how to describe himself as a black leg, and explained that it is because of him that some Amber fighters have been killed, that he was working with the military, and so on and so on. Blame game keep coming up left and right, and every day there have been an increase in violence in the northwest and the southwest region. Within the last 3 weeks, violence have skyrocketed in the northwest and the southwest region. Separatists were also killed earlier this week, and some were killed in Bui division, the northwest region of Cameroon. A similar thing had occurred in Muyuka. How long shall the people keep crying? How long shall Cameroonians keep dying? This October will clock 10 years from the Anglophone crisis, which began peacefully in October 2016 with the teachers and the lawyers. And the lawyers were then maltreated, tortured, beaten as common criminals by forces of law and order, where staging a peaceful protest. And in November, university students in University of Boya were beaten, tear gas, some detained, and some people in Moliko were beaten. There were random trashing of individuals in that November 2016. And this saw the formation of a consortium, which became known as the Anglophone Civil Society Consortium. And in December 8th, in Bamenda, the city came about. The CPDM was about to hold a rally, and the youth from the northwest region said no way, and some people were killed. And that witnessed the movement of the consortium, where President Paul Biya himself formed an interministerial committee in early December for dialogue between the teachers and the lawyers. The wigs of the lawyers were seized by divisional officer and police officers, what many in the academic would describe as a taboo. However, the consortium interministerial committee was formed, one in Bamenda, another one in Yaoundé. The one in Bamenda was for the teachers, headed by Paul Gogomo, which was under the Prime Minister, head of government at the time, Philemon Yang. And the one in Yaoundé was with the lawyers, and that was to see to it that the grievances of the lawyers were brought forward. And in January, things did not go well. The meeting held, the leaders of the trade union of teachers insisted that it must be a federal system that will protect the educational sector. The leaders of the lawyers also insisted that it is a federal system that will protect the bicultural and the bijurial nature and the common law system. This was when the government said a big no and saw the banning of the consortium on the 17th of January 2017 and the arrest of its leaders on the 19th of January 2017, and then came in the dreaded September 22, 2017. That was when the gate of hell was open. So now we are counting almost 10 years. What needs to be done that have not been done? And in September 30th, 2019, President Paul Biya acknowledged the existence of the Anglophone crisis and called for a grand measure national dialogue. And that was when the special status was born. With the special status, many expected that the violence will reduce. But the violence hasn't reduced. The UN Secretary General has come to Cameroon. The President of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki then, the Francophonie, Commonwealth Party of Scotland, even the Grand Master of Matters, the Grand Master, came to Cameroon. He cried when he landed at the airport. Many thought that these tears would bring peace and reconciliation. Still did not. Pope Leo XIV himself now has come. And in the eyes of those members of government who go to the Catholic Church, we of the Catholic Church believe that the Pope is a personal representative of Jesus Christ on earth, because he represents St. Peter, who happens to be on the rock, I'll be my church. And the Pope said dialogue is not a slogan. Peace cannot be decreed. Peace cannot be sloganated. Peace is worked for. And since the Pope left, several people have been killed. As the government replied, the message of the Pope, or was the Pope visit just for theatric or antique, because the moment of the vice presidential debacle was ongoing? Was it just to get Cameroonians off? This is House of Commons with me, Tamai Jarvis.